Welcome everybody in the lesson number 4 of the video course within the EU funded project e-Cultures Managing Cultural Heritage and Tourism. Today we will see how to write EU proposals part 1 because there is also a part 2 of course. So let's have a look about today's content. We will make a short introduction, importance of the topic for EU project. This is very important to know to well write European project due to the high competition that we will find within the projects. We will see the PM magic triangle, the project management magic triangle. Have a look at the relevance of the project, call for proposal and the deadlines, and then the application forms, documents, annexes, eligibility criteria. So, why is the topic of particular importance? While writing EU proposal, there is a very high competition. Sometimes funding quotes are between 5 and 10% depending on the funding programs. Sometimes it's somehow higher, but it can be also 5 to 10%. So writing good proposal is hence an important condition to get funded. Without a good project, a good proposal which is written in a good manner, you will not be able to get funded due to the high competition. So in project management theory, at least 3 target components are defined. You have to be aware of in the project, in your proposals, in the expectations of the stakeholders, EU, politics, civil society. Then you have some constraint of time, quality, goals and outcomes, and cost budgets. These are the main constraints that you will have also in the proposals while writing EU projects. So, first of all, in EU proposal you have to define objectives and goals. Determine the objective and goals of your project. What do you want to do and when? Which products and outcomes should be available by the end of the projects? Products is something material, and outcome is something that comes from the project. An effect of your project. Which problems are going to be solved within the project? Then you have to define the time frame and deadlines. So you have to define the time required to achieve these objectives and goals, how much time is needed for each subtask and sub-goal of the project, which step is followed by which. This is also very important. And then you have, of course, to define cost objectives. So plan the resources you need to achieve the goals. How much human resources are needed for each sub-step. How much money is required for each task and each work package. These all you have to define in your project application. Remember, strategic EU fundraising entails knowledge of the objectives, incentives and goals of a certain EU program, knowledge of the EU policies behind a certain funding program, a given funding program, familiarity with the broader political goals of the field, having a project idea that adds to given EU strategies, and being able to show European relevance of the given project idea, which is also called the EU added value. To make some visualization, you have with your project to match the interest of the European dimension, common interest, EU strategies and EU policies, European cooperation as intrinsic value, relevance for the funding instrument or call for proposal, your project, and then the EU added value. For example, the transfer of technological methods and models, let's say best practice transfer and open access to results, networking and cooperations, transfer of knowledge and capacity building. These are all among the EU added value within EU projects, so you will be here in the middle. Rule and principles. The organizational frames. Applications are being called for, so there are call for proposals. The call determines the application structure. There are formal criteria to be met, content criteria, financial rules, evaluation criteria, and the USP, unique selling point. The call for proposal is a legal text calling on interested parties to submit proposal for project. The text defines the necessary specifications to prepare and submit a proposal, indicated example, the thematic priorities, instrument used, the address and other technical means for submissions, and also the deadlines. You have to well read the terms of reference. Have a real original project idea that can compete at EU level. You have to plan well ahead to form your consortium. who will take the lead, who will be the lead of the partnership, who has experience in previous calls. You have to check language knowledge of your partners. As we will see it, communication is a key element in the project. What do you need to form a strong consortium? What kind of organization do you need? So all these aspects you have to be taken care of it. Also be sure that you have trusted partners that are committed from the start to the finish, etc. Application have to be ended by a certain time because there is a deadline. Once you pass the deadline, for example, midday Brussels time, then you will not be able to submit the proposal anymore. And the applications are mostly ended via an online system. So the applications are mostly online. Remember also about the financial frame. You, most of the case, receive co-financing. So the EU funding is normally, let's say 95% of the cases, a complementary funding, so that EU projects usually need other funding sources too. Non-profit. EU funding is meant to cover project-related costs and should not lead to financial benefits within the implementation of the project. After the project completion, you will be able to make gains from the products that you have been developing, but during project implementation, this is not the case. No double financing. EU funding cannot be accumulated with other EU funding, excuse me. So, in the case that you receive funding from a specific funding program, let's say Erasmus+, you will not be able to ask for funding for the same project to another funding program. This is the no double financing. How to go to call for proposals? Let's take an example from Horizon 2020, the Research and Innovation Program of the European Union. There is a Research and Innovation Participant Portal. There, under funding opportunities, you have the different funding programs. Here you see some of the funding programs: Horizon 2020, Third Health Program, Consumer Program, COSME, etc. And when you click on Horizon 2020, you will then have the possibility to look for other under measure of the program Horizon 2020 and then to apply for the specific call for proposal that you have been identifying. Everything online, like I already mentioned. Here, for example, this call for proposal was innovative approaches to urban and regional development through cultural tourism. Then you will then be able to apply to that and receiving all the applications documents. Here, starting submission, then you can start the online submission. You have to create a PIC number, which is a project identification code that every organization has to create and have to insert during the application. Then you can go forward on the application procedure. Here another example. You see here the keep calm and read the rules. Here is another example from a call for proposal posted on Europe Aid, the external aid service funding services. You see that you have different documents that you have to deal with while wanting to applying. You have the application form, you have the logical framework, and then you have some annexes: legal entity file, legal entity sheet, financial identification form, etc. It looks like a huge amount of documents. It is actually not in the fact, but you have just to be aware of them and then just to be working with them. Application documents. Here is an example of the call for proposal supporting the development and promotion of transnational thematic tourism products, exploiting synergies between tourism and cultural and creative industry. The general objective of this call for proposal were revitalizing tourism attractions and destinations and diversifying transnational tourism experiences, prolonging seasonality of EU destinations and/or enhancing sustainability of tourism offers, and boosting innovation across transnational tourism value chains. And here you add the documents, the different documents. So you see some kind of less documents than what we have been just seeing now. The previous one, you have the call for proposal, the FAQ, guide for applicants, description of the action, which is the description of the project, the budget template, the grant agreement between project partner and the coordinator, list of previous project and coordinator experience, plus you can submit your CVs if you want. You have to submit your CVs. So it is different according to each specific funding program. So you have to specifically check for the documents that are requested every time for each funding program, for each call for proposal, for each measure you are applying to. So we cannot give a general rule, but generally talking, you have to submit some paperwork, let's say. And always specific proved it. So thank you very much. First of all, let's have some conclusions. Good proposals take time. Take time to research for the good strategies and priorities at EU level. Start early looking for calls and for the correct partners. Always double check if all documents have been prepared and are submitted, because if one document is missing, then your proposal will not be selected. Submit the proposal at least 1 or 2 days before official deadline, because it is an online application and there will be hundreds, if not thousands, of projects being uploaded at the same time when you are approaching the deadline. So it can be that the portal doesn't work, that the platform and that the online submission portal doesn't work. So you should do it 1 or 2 days before to avoid last time problems, because in the case you miss the deadline, also 1 minute is enough, then you will not get granted the fund. Okay, thank you very much for listening, and then we will see each other in the comment lesson.